Hey, hey, and welcome to this week Training Tuesday Live. We are Magnet Marketers and coming to you live here with two special guests today. But before we dive into the show, where we're going to be talking about how to get your head in the game and really reduce stress so you can be your best self, use your superpower for good with all this crazy that's going on. So continuing kind of with this COVID-19 positive series, we're going to bring you two special guests to really help you amp up your game today. But if we've not met before, hello, hello. My name is Jessika Phillips with Now Marketing Group in the Relationship Marketing System. And my awesome co-host, as always, he's Mike Gingerich. He's the president of Digital Hill, the co-founder of the popular apps Waftio, Tabsite, and published author extraordinaire. And today, Mike, we got double the goodness in the house.
Double the goodness. That's good. That's good. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
You want to introduce our first guest?
Yes, looking forward to it, and I want to get to both of these guys introduced here a little bit. So now let's see. I don't know if the squares are the same for everybody else. So Dr. Tony Rump, raise your hand just so that they can. There you go. Yeah. Energetic, enthusiastic. Advocate of natural health, healing benefits of chiropractic, quantum neurology, nutrition, and exercise. In his practice life, he is a functional wellness doctor. He looks at a client as a whole person by using natural quality whole food supplements, quantum neurology, and chiropractic to support health, vitality, and balance. And part of that is stress reduction, right? So we're going to talk to him. And as well, we have Kevin from Ultrasound Special Events with us. He's developed the Kangaroo Cave at Axe Cave as local brands representing a local place to gather for events to provide trending interactive entertainment. Ultrasound is a DJ service and interactive event company that produces social, college, corporate events for clients. And of course, they're experiencing some different things right now. So we're going to dive into that. So welcome, Kevin. Welcome, Dr. Tony.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, and I can definitely vouch for both these guys. First of all, Dr. Tony Rump, although I need to get back in there so he can really help with the stress and like this area here, mainly my neck and like the back areas. I was trying to convince him to come over here and, do the adjustment first as an intro into the show, because I feel like that's just
Kevin has whiskey. I'm going there though.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or yeah, Kevin's place. Kevin's got the right idea too. But yeah, today we are talking about really how to get your head back in the game. What I mean by that is we've had several conversations. I've actually talked quite a bit with Kevin this week and last week because he's in a very unique business where he runs special events, and events require usually people attending them in person. And so has been someone that I feel like has been kind of hit hard, if you will. I know there's several industries that are out there and could be really someone that kind of takes a step back and says, yeah, I'm just going to drink whiskey, which still a good thing to drink potentially, but really has been affected by this COVID-19. And I feel like there could be one of two ways of kind of dealing with things, right? Or maybe one of three: shut down, be negative, be positive, or just kind of immune to what's happening. So I guess, Kevin, from your perspective, maybe tell everybody a little bit about your industry and kind of how this has affected you first, right? Because I think others could relate.
Well, be happy to kind of share how things evolved, and this whole COVID-19 thing rolled in quickly, and initially as we saw it coming, and we do a few different, and we thought we were diversified in that we have a lot of different segments of our industry we represent and provide services to. Coming into this time of year, it was a significant income period for us that we were relying on, because initially quarter one is kind of a slower period for everyone, for that matter. January, February, March, there's not a lot going on. And as we rolled into our peak times, which is right now, we saw the schools, the campuses, college campuses were going into spring break, and that's when the first wave hit, in that okay, we're probably not going to come back to campus. And all of these college students then, and I moved my son back from the University of Cincinnati, and he moved out not to go back. I mean, he got word basically the day before we were moving out or leaving for spring break that you're not coming back. So fortunate for that situation, I guess we made one trip and we've got everything out of the dorm room and he's back home now. Like all of the campus students are, online school now. So it was a big change. And as a business, that's a significant amount of income for us. We do college campuses nationally. And I thought, well, okay, that's gone. We're not going to change that. And then we rolled into this time of year now where we're rolling into the post proms and the prom time, graduation time, and a significant amount of stress for those youth in our lives that might be graduating from high school, might not get to experience that. We have a significant amount of prom and after prom and that type of business that I thought, okay, we lost to college, we're going to be okay, we're going to be able to do these prom jobs. Then that was gone. And then the restaurants and bars closed. We do a program called Singo, which we host nightly at a number of restaurants and bars. And, that evaporated. And I get calls from our restaurant owners and things too, saying, hey, we're shut down. We're not going to be able to do that. So, in a matter of about 3 to 4 to 5 days time, all the sources of income that I had with the check marks and everything else, they weren't check marks, they were X's. They weren't going to happen. So it was kind of stressful. It was stressful.
Because you had, like you said, you diversified your business. You also have the Axe Cave, Kangaroo Cave, Axe Cave. Everybody from Lima remembers that. That's where we had Social Media Week Lima after party last year, the year before. Looking forward to doing it again this year because it's a lot of fun. And you had Kangaroo Cave, which is, for the younger kids to come out and, well, older kids too, to jump in the jumpies and have a good time with the family. So like you said, you've diversified your business and all areas of your business have been affected. Literally, your business came to a halt for anyone. That is super scary because you have families that you are providing for, you have employees, you have bills that are due, right? Like you have all these things. And this is the epitome of stressful situation. So I want to kind of pick it up and next with really talking about how our bodies kind of go through this. And I know, Tony, you're really going to speak to this because I think it's really interesting how you did react, Kevin, and I want to get back to that instead of just kind of shutting down, but how you took action in another way, which was really, really cool, that we'll talk about. But first, I want to know, what first, Kevin, for you has been the greatest challenge, I guess, with all of this stopping? Like, what's been your mindset first before we get to
the greatest challenge, I think, and the greatest difficulty we've had is the uncertainty of not knowing, is this going to last for, initially, is it going to be 2 weeks? Is it going to be 2 months? Is this going to be till July? When is this going to end and when can we start recovery? Because when you go from, income coming in to pay bills, keep track of employees and 13 people that are now laid off because we just went from income of a significant amount during this period of time to zero. And when is that going to end? I cannot do events unless I have people, and we're prohibited to do that right now.
And this is a live show, so we do want to know from you that are watching with us, what is your number one concern right now? Because as I said, this has been a series that we've been doing. Yes, we're talking about marketing, we're talking about business, and our goal here is to provide resources to you that are really going to help you thrive. So I want to know from you in the comments too, what is your biggest concern right now as it relates to your business and kind of what are you doing, if anything, that's helping you? But really just the big question right now, like what is your biggest kind of question that's out there right now? And also let us know where you're tuning in from. So Mike, I'm going to kick it over to you to kind of see where your thoughts are with all of this, because you and I are in a fortunate situation where we get to work remote. So yes, it's stressful. I mean, I'm sure your business has been impacted as well, but what are your thoughts so far before we get into Tony?
Yeah, no, I think that what Kevin says is true. The unknown, you can't see the finish line, and so the need to adjust to a very short-term mindset, is just a radical departure from kind of what you're used to. I mean, you're taught with your business, everything. Okay, you know, what can you forecast, and you know, and what do you have that's in place, you know, that will come, and you try to look at those things, and suddenly all those kind of things change, and you know, then you add to that then the you know, quarantine, stay at home, those types of pieces, and so suddenly, you know, your other routines are interrupted as well. So you've got major shift, major change going on there, and so yeah, you know, you feel that in different ways. Before we started there, I was talking with Dr. Rump, and you know, I said that I've walked the dog more in the last 2 weeks. I mean, my dog's going to be coming out of this like totally physically fit, you know, just because I'm like, I got to get out of the house. You know, I got to, you know, I got to stop. I got to do something. So I take the dog on a walk, you know, and so that's just a change of pace I've done now that, you know, the dog's going to benefit. But for me, it's like a stress reliever as well. Just I got to, you know, change of pace, get out, you know, and get around a little bit, you know, type of piece there. So uncharted territories, and definitely a need to kind of shift mindset. What can you do? What can you think of creatively? And what kind of pivots do you need to make? And then, you know, how do you going to deal with the new stressors that have come? So lots of things.
Like ninth grade math, ninth grade math right now. Like, talk about stressor. Like, I'm like, I don't remember any of this. And Google is hard to ask math questions to. Okay, like there's not the story problems anyway. So I'm learning that's my biggest stressor right now. Like, I don't remember all of this ninth grade math at all. And I would say the extra workouts that everyone's been getting around here is this action with their arm because the fridge has been opened more than anything else in this house all week long. But we all deal differently, right? Like, we all take these stressors, we deal differently, whether that's binging out on Netflix. Like, how in the world is Tiger King like one of the biggest shows on Netflix? I don't know.
Don't spoil it. I didn't see it yet.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I haven't watched it either, but
I heard about it.
We all deal with it.
I think that the other big thing is, you know, why did this happen? You know, and as far as people being in control of their business or their life or whatever, you want to know, why did this happen and what can I do to fix it? And there's no answer to that question. It just happened. It was nobody's fault. And I guess that's what I hold on to most, you know, is it wasn't my fault. It wasn't anybody in my company's fault. It wasn't anybody associated with, you know, clients or anything. You know, it just happened, and this is uncharted territory now, and we've got to deal with it and take little bits of time, you know, to basically figure it out.
And I love that you said that. I think crisis brings out a true person's personality, right? And also just things that we didn't maybe even know about ourselves, right? So I really love, though, Kevin, that, and I'm just going to mention the story real quick, and I want you to kind of end it out with talking about what it's evolving to, but your brain immediately went to how can I help others and serve others? And that's what our conversation has been on. And now you've created this community that you'll be rolling out. We're working on a website page and all of that to really support the service and hospitality industry to get them back on their feet when this all kind of ends. And I love that, because I feel like when I say that it identifies what kind of person you are, I feel like there's makers, takers, and fakers, you know, like 3 different kinds of people. And I really love that you are a maker and creator and really look to, instead of just, you could be woe is me, instead you went and said, how can I help others that are really hurting from this situation too? So all of these things have been stressors. And Dr. Tony, like, I know you hear this a lot. I mean, that's what I came in for. I was pain originally. I didn't realize it had a lot to do with my stress. So what do you see all this kind of transpiring into, and how can we deal with it?
First thing is, like Kevin said, don't appoint blame. I mean, I believe most of this, how I come through it is, you know, if we were in the position of leadership, we would do the same thing. We would try to protect our elderly, our immune, and, you know, the people that are sickly. That's just what they're trying to do in our hospitals. So if that's all it takes, and that's the reason we're in this situation, I'm all right with it. So I'll do my part. I feel bad for the chiropractors and the practitioners just started out. They're really struggling, and and that's part of the whole deal, I guess. So yeah, so that's how I dealt with it, and we have to modify everything we do in our office. We're still open. I've been deemed essential, so my role is to help the people that are helping on the front line. I'm not. I need to take the pressure off. If somebody has low back pain, acute, I can keep them out of the ER. I'll do that, and that's a physical stressor. And there's mental stress and there's chemical stress, and they're all relevant.
Explain the difference of those real quick, if you would. Chemical, mental, and
I'm sorry, what's that? Just
could you explain the difference between the three kinds of stressors real quick?
sure. Like physical stress is like picking up too much and hurting your back or being in a car accident. Mental stress is worrying about what's going on, worrying about when it's going to end, worrying about what can I do, worrying about conspiracies, worrying about Republican, Democrat, worrying about is this the end of the world, worrying about stuff that really makes no difference. That's mental. And chemicals, what we're putting in our bodies, like you was talking about the refrigerator, they're depending on what they're grabbing for. And the key is our body physiologically responds the same way to all of them. So if you're upset and you pick a pencil up, you might hurt your low back just because of the pencil. But it's really the whole problem of degrading or having your system be in an attack situation. So that's that's what I'm seeing more and more. Like there's not so much back pain, neck pain, that type of thing. Just people having other things like shoulders just aching. They're not sleeping well. They're not digesting things very well. They're just in a place of not getting over something, having a cold that just lasts forever because of the worry and the extra stress that's going on, the mental stress that's going on in our world today. And like Kevin said, it's the uncertainty. If they could say in 3 weeks we're back to rocking and rolling, it'd be a lot better off.
Right.
But this is supposed to be the week we're back to rock and rolling in Ohio, and now it's May, the end of April. So
April 30th has been extended. So
yeah, so that's another gut punch, and people are doing well with it. And that's another fascinating thing is how people are responding. Like Kevin, he took the bull by the horns, made a big difference. Action. And I know people that are duct taping their doors closed to keep the virus out. I mean, and not talking to nobody. And so it's fascinating how people respond to different situations. And that's okay too, because it's going to end. And how we handle ourselves through this situation is how we come out of it.
Yeah,
I think remaining positive with that too. And, where it really hit home for me was when you see NBA and MLB and, all of these multi-million-dollar organizations basically bringing everything to a halt, NHL suspending the season and, all of these things happening. And that's when it became real to me is that, this isn't small business. This isn't somebody blowing it out of proportion in Columbus, Ohio, when they canceled the Arnold. It's real, and now it's not just the Arnold; it's everything that's starting to fall down. I was crushed when the state wrestling tournament was canceled, as were all the athletes that needed to compete in that. And so that's where it became real, and that's when you started, to me, to have to assess the situation and deal with it because it's here and it wasn't going away.
Exactly correct.
Yep, I've been excited to see some of the steps that some leaders out there have taken. And when you think of first one that going back to the NBA, I mean that was huge. And they were the kind of the first big entity that says, boom, we're shutting down kind of thing. And but then guys like Mark Cuban with the Dallas Mavericks saying, hey, I'm concerned about my hourly employees, and we need to make sure we take care of them. Seeing some of those from owners to players to that type of thing, looking beyond and saying, I can see, those people that I interact with daily don't have that security blanket. They're used to that hourly, hourly paycheck and reaching out together. So it's been good to see some of them give kind of leadership in their arenas to assist their. Jessika, I know you're a big fan of Simon Sinek and his, you know, his mantra book, videos, Better Together, I think is huge at this point in time, that we have to find ways to think. I mean, we're all in this. This is global. I mean, global. This is unprecedented. It's not just, you know, Ohio, but it's not Eastern United States, U.S., North America, whatever. Global.
It's the world.
And so we have to be, you know. But if we can have that kind of mindset, better together, how can we think, we, you know, not just me, and you know, really get kind of creative. We need to figure out some things that we haven't figured out before, and take that kind of how do we get through this together mindset.
Yeah, because I think that's the key, that people want to live that way. It feels good. We love that. But as you mentioned, Tony, picking up a pencil can hurt you because there's something going on internally that you're not dealing with. So I feel like stress is that key that we need to work in ourselves first and know how to process.
Exactly.
We talked with Angus Nelson last week, and we were talking about emotion is energy in motion. It's got to come out somehow, and if you're not dealing with it, it's going to manifest internally, make you feel bad, paralyze you, you know, manifest itself into some kind of illness. As like you said, you may have a cold for forever and not know why it's not going away. You're not going to potentially treat people the best in your life or make the best decisions because you're frozen in this fear. So I feel like a lot of this first starts with, this is something we've all not gone through before. This is the first time for our generation that we've had something like this. So it really starts the conversation first on being better leaders and being able to support our teams in the right way, as well as make sure that we're, you know, getting our head back in the game. Starts with first getting our head back right as how we're dealing with stress, because we've probably not had something like this before. So Tony, can you, or excuse me, Dr. Rump, can you walk us through kind of how someone should think about this, or what your process is when you talk to someone about stress?
Well, the first thing is, and you're right, it is a global issue, but the only way we have energy, or the only way we have enough whatever we need to move forward, is to take care of ourselves. So we can't give what we don't have. So we have to have gratitude, we have to have love from within, otherwise we'll never be able to give it away. And I choose to think of as God, and I think it's a good thing that we have a North Star, but also in our body we have an autonomic. I'm going to go with functional neurology now, so hang with me. So our body has an autonomic nervous system, and an autonomic nervous system is automatic. It just does what it's supposed to do: beat, heartbeat, that type of thing. When that autonomic nervous system gets whopper jawed, we can't handle our stress. And the big nerve is the cranial nerve 10. So when we get out of balance like that, we call it wired and tired. We can't sleep. Our digestion stinks. Our shoulders get tight. We toss and turn all night long. We're edgy with our spouse, our partners, and so here's what I found. Cranial nerve 10 is the rest, digest, and heal nerve from the navel up. So it puts a wet blanket on that wired and tired fire. And the easiest way to activate that is just by licking the roof of your mouth side to side. It's simple. Cranial nerve 10, vagus nerve. Just lick it side to side. And then how hard is that? And then
power of suggestion.
What's that?
I said power of suggestion. I saw Jessika. Everybody's licking the top of their mouth.
I agree. Action means something though too. You can say you're going to start a car, but until you put the keys in and ignition and start it matters. So licking, that's the navel up. The navel down is giggling, contracting the pelvic floor. I know Jessika, I'm sure, knows because it's a female thing, but we can do it as men. And how I tell men is, if you're going number one, it's stopping that number one. It's that simple, that motion. So you lick, you stop number one, and then cranial nerve 9, which is like glossopharyngeal nerve, comes out the same place in the brainstem as cranial nerve 10, and they branch off. That's talking. So you can hum like that. But them are the 3 physiological ways to help balance that wired and tired. But I got two other ones, 2 additions that are really easy. If we just take a moment before we start that and get in a state of gratitude. You know, we are kind of in a crap storm right now. But look, we're all happy, we're all living, we're all eating. You know, we all have family around us. That's pretty dang good. And so we it isn't hard to be grateful for something. And our employees, you know, our families, it's just crazy. And if we get in that state with some deep breathing, of like a count of 4 in, count of 8 out, deep breathing. I mean, like moving your belly button breathing, kind of, and then do the 10 seconds and do it in the morning, noon, and night. I know everybody thinks that's pretty simple. I had a client one time, 6'7", 140 pounds. He was like a walking skeleton. I thought about putting him in a corner in my office so I could show everybody the bones. That's the only thing he done for 6 weeks, and he put on 60 pounds in 6 weeks, and all of his, like, it was phenomenal. So now everybody that comes to my office, that's their, when they say, is there any exercise I can do? Number 1, let's refocus, recenter, create an action, and do it. And it's amazing. Simple.
Love that.
Simple.
I love that. I definitely believe too in the power of breathing. Like
Yes.
that has made all the difference. When like you get stressed out, just like taking breaths in and really consciously focusing on your breath. There is a million YouTube videos out there that you can watch that can take you through breathing exercises. You would be surprised just the difference it makes in your mental clarity to really like get this competitive edge just from our breath. Because I found like when you're stressed out, you're not taking in deep breaths. You're like, it's very shallow. And just especially when you were sitting all day for watching the Lion King, Tiger King, whatever it is, and everything else sitting on the couch, you're probably not taking in deep breaths there. So like just focusing on your breath for a while, like I love that. Like I'm a fan of the Wim Hof method too. I haven't got to religiously doing cold showers or anything, but like just following his, that's really helped me with all my inflammation and chronic pain. But then also now with stress, like doing his breathing techniques. And that has been one thing that I try to do then before I get on stage, you know, to speak somewhere or go into a big meeting. Like you'll be so surprised just with breathing. I have not heard the tongue thing on the top of your mouth or the humming thing. So it may be good if we practice this now when we are in social distancing so people don't think you're crazy. Try it out and see how it works.
Incidentally, I used to do that going through security in the airport because, but I found out if you always get frisked if you like go, but so they're always, but so if you can tap your chin too is part of that, but I didn't include that. So you got to be careful where you do it and who you're doing it with. But it does work. It's fast and effective, and it recenters you. And simple, very simple.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Breathing's important. If you disagree with me, try not to breathe.
Yes, that's a deep breath. It's you have to like a deep breath and exhale with a state of gratitude. I mean, it does make a difference because it immediately changes emotion. But by licking, giggling, and humming, that's the function of the wired and tired nerves of our nervous system, central nervous system. Big deal.
Yeah.
Big deal. So
gratitude's awesome too. Like if you're not sure how to get started, try just writing a card to someone for something. Like we did that in November, and now we're bringing it back throughout this whole year of just writing a card and sending it to someone. And not only does it feel good for you, it's almost kind of like this sending gratitude to someone else, but it's just as rewarding for yourself. And not that you have to practice gratitude by sending cards, but it's really amazing thing that happens when you are practicing gratitude. It can just be something that you're saying you're thankful for. And it really does help, you know, your brain kind of stop focusing on the negative things that are happening in your life. And really, the more that you practice it, the more you'll start noticing all the other things that you're grateful for. And it's impossible to get like in a bad mood, I found, like when you're in that state of gratitude, like things will happen and it just like rolls off of your back.
Right. It's amazing how sometimes people really have to search for when they're alive and they're, you know, they're it's all right. They have a husband, a wife, a spouse, that really enjoys, a great life, but they're having struggle in one area of their life. It's hard for them to get out of that downward spiral.
Yeah.
And what we're in right now, because we don't know when it's going to end. It's none of our fault. It just did, and that's life, right? So hey, we're all upright. I mean, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike, don't you have like a gratitude journal, or didn't you publish something like that? Or do you just
Yeah, I do. I do have one that basically it's the mindset. It's kind of like a series of questions, kind of help you think through a statement and then write about that. So how do you add value to others? How do you live an uncommon life? Yeah. So I mean, I know that's just part of the mindset. I like what you said, just about I think there's some value. You said writing cards, but I think that the value in that is writing, journaling can be those types of pieces there.
Yep. Starting your morning off with gratitude is the best way to make sure that you got your armor on, is what I call it. Like I tell my kids, like in the morning when I was taking them to school, now we just do it together. I'm like, starting your day off with gratitude is like putting your armor on, is how I kind of look at it. Like then things don't hit you as hard when it happens, I feel like. But, what are some things, Dr. Rump, that you've seen? I know personally, like I said, it's helped me with pain. Like I was on ton of medications for chronic pain and everything else, and stress was the biggest cause of all of that, which I didn't realize. Like I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition as well, but a lot of practicing these kind of techniques helped me eliminate that medicine, helped me finally feel like I was living my life, right, instead of just being in it. What are some other things that you've seen just with people doing these practices?
So like I was talking about the guy that's 6'7" and put on weight. The big thing is just the balance and supporting the body. So let's just, with the COVID-19 thing, that germ doesn't change. It's a germ virus. So we have to be, like you say, put on our armor. We have to be strong. We have to be good. We have to be as strong as we can. So these techniques, eating correctly, and moving forward, and fear, that's one way a virus will set it up. So if we can get through and not have that fear, we're so much healthier all the way along, of knowing, because there's so much out there, and just like point north, be grateful and move forward, and know that if we're doing the right things, in reality, the numbers, 99% of the time, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
It's a lot. We're protecting our people that are protecting us, is what we're doing. Yeah,
you find like the people that are practicing a lot of these things do not get sick as often, right? And they just feel a lot better. Shout out to several people that are watching with us here and that have posted in the comments here. Jacqueline, by the way, she said to tell you hi, Dr. Rob. She said internal stress definitely manifests itself externally, which is so true. I think a lot of people don't know that, but a lot of your immune system lives in your gut, right? Like
second brain.
Yeah, it's your second brain. And you notice when you get stressed, that's usually the first place you feel it. I think a lot of times people have an upset stomach. Tony says, I use the 5-minute journal for gratitude and I love it. You write down 3 things you're grateful for, 3 things you want to accomplish in 1 daily affirmation. That is amazing too. I love that. And shout out to Stephen Bargy saying, what up, fam? How's everybody doing?
I do know it was Stephen's birthday as of yesterday, I believe.
Yes. Kevin said he's going to sing to you.
No, Dr. Tony, you want to take this one? I don't know which way to point. Everything's backwards here. So.
Yeah. No, but so that's amazing. I want to we're going to recap your tips and put them in, the comments here so people can practice this, or where can they find out some of these suggestions and more? Because I know this is just a little bit of your suggestions, I'm sure.
So I can post them in the comments.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Or they can go to docrump.com/hacks and download it themselves. So
docrump / I'm sorry, what?
/hacks. HACK. Yeah.
Hacks. Got it. See, I told you.
I call it my nervous system hack.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Good job. Yeah.
We'll definitely put that in the comments.
I have it all printed out, and it's a nice little booklet, but I'll put them in the comments.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
I love that. And so I want to bring it back to you, Kevin, because we started off with talking about the most stressful situations, as many business I'm sure can relate to, and people that are watching the stream, whether they run a business or work for a company where they're not sure, are they going to stay employed, right, or not? And it was really amazing to me and inspiring, like, that you came to me and was telling me everything that was going on and was like, hey, here's what I want to do about it. I want to start this away, and you're calling it Emerge, to really help give back to the service and hospitality industry. And you came up with this concept that we're getting ready to roll out to support others like you. And I think that's definitely a way of using gratitude, one, and two, a definite way of, I feel like, helping reduce stress because you're putting that energy and emotion to something positive. You want to talk about what you're doing with Emerge real quick?
Yeah, most definitely. And I think it comes from faith. If there's one word I hold on to, it's faith. And maybe not even in the religious sense of the word, but believing in something you can't see, which is kind of religious in itself as well. But that's one thing that I kind of want to believe in, and that's what we initially talked about, Jessica, was that's what I feel I've got to hold on to. I'm unemployed, for lack of better terms here, and kind of waiting on things to materialize things. But as things get better, the one word I held on to was emerge. That's what we got to do, is be ready as hospitality, special event people, people that are working right now. Everything paused, and it's been nothing that you've done yourself to inflict that, but you've just got to be ready to emerge on that backside. And I used a saying we put on the back of the t-shirt and stuff as well. When you bury a seed, you think it's gone, but then it grows, it flourishes, it develops, and it comes back something more beautiful and better than what it was before. So that's one of the things that I've kind of held on to, and I work with hospitality professionals. We do linens for the civic centers and hotels and things like that. All that business came to a halt. We're not doing it anymore because all of them people are on hold. Their life is on hold, and hopefully we can emerge from this and come out bigger, better, stronger, more beautiful than we were before. And that's the only thing that you can hold on to, if anything, is that it will get better, and it will. So with the Emerge efforts, we actually were fortunate to get Emerge Special Events, which is going to be our URL, emergespecialevents.com. We're launching that website tomorrow or the next day. It's very close. But then working with other hospitality and event professionals, the bartenders, the servers, the DJs, the anybody that's affected with this, hold on to that. We have the t-shirts as kind of a solidarity effort in bringing everybody together, holding on to hope together. And again, emerging from the backside of this, we approach some bands and entertainers, whether it's DJs, bands, people that are performing have been pretty much just stopped. And you've seen some of the online virtual performances, virtual concerts and things like that, which I think is great for a lot of these live acts to continue working and not getting in the funk of feeling bad for yourself. But kind of emerging on the backside of it and continuing. So we're going to do some live concert events where we're going to host that to kind of, while we're in quarantine or stay at home or shelter in place, whatever you call it in the state that you're watching from, we're all in that. And, how can we entertain ourselves virtually, I guess? And that's one thing I'm learning. I'm not, I haven't been a streamer. I've asked Jessica for resources and say, how do you do this? How can you stay connected? Because I'm going nuts myself, staying away from people. That's not in my DNA. I like to be around people. So it's been hard to adjust to that. And, how can we stream? So I've been teaching myself some of that, how can we stay connected, whether it's through, the online platforms or whatnot. And that's what Emerge is about. So emergespecialevents.com. And Jessica, with your social media prowess, has allowed us to get that group started, which is also part of that as well. And I think it's been echoed time and time again. We're in this together, and let's endure it together, and then let's emerge together to continue.
And I love so the whole premise, of course, you talked about like what's all invited, included and who is supporting this. But the whole premise was, like you said, bringing people together, talking about like, we're going to emerge out of this, keeping people positive, but doing so and bringing people together in a group. So we created a group, Ohio Business Connection, where we're able to share ideas with each other, share support, advice, tips, things like that. And then also you had the shirt created to where people could potentially donate if they wanted to get a shirt, or you're giving some of them away. But basically all those funds will be used then to almost have like a party, a merge party when everybody's out of this, to then support and give back to those several different industries here locally in Lima, Ohio, or Allen County, Ohio, that will then benefit from that to kind of get the crowds there, back again, their community, which is the livelihood of their businesses, get them back there. So we're doing a big meetup at these different locations, as well as donating, those funds to them, which I think is huge. It's a great way of not waiting around, and you're still getting things done. And then as well, bringing, like I said, bringing the performers in, so people have something to enjoy on a Friday night. I love seeing the creativity. I've seen, different things with my dance studio. They're bringing now the dance studio on Zoom where the kids can still get active and do that. I've seen people doing workouts, right, in their community where they're still doing social distancing, but having, a speaker out there, or, what we've seen in Italy with people singing, and what I've seen in Chicago with people doing lights for 10 minutes. The key is like sticking together, staying together. That's definitely going to help you reduce stress too. And it's going to really make sure that when all this comes to a halt and we're emerged, as Kevin put it, that we still have this sense of community. You're going to come out stronger than before. So you didn't wait around and let stress beat you up. You created a group, started taking action, and are still doing something while you're kind of on hold.
The hospitality and special event industry is going to need to have a restart. A lot of these restaurants that are out there now are at best getting by with carry out service, and a lot of times the cost of doing business, the food and the labor they have involved with still operating their business isn't necessarily. They don't have enough money coming in to even sustain that. So they're on life support right now, hoping for things to get better. And I think we need to give all of these restaurants and bars and the small businesses in your community a grand reopening when we emerge from this, to go and support them and take action and have these events that can be held at local establishments to allow them to, they're going to have to catch up. Our business is going to have to catch up. Every small business, every restaurant, every business out there is going to have to catch up, and it's going to take a period of time, and it's up to us to help them do that.
Yeah, if only you could DoorDash margaritas. I mean, I'd support them now if I could. I'm just kidding. So what are your finishing thoughts on this, Mike? I'm going to start with you as we wind up. I mean, this was like a super fast 45 minutes, but Mike, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take care of yourself, right, to be able to be there for others. So, I mean, think through that. You got to think through your health, your personal state of mind, and then also how can you then be there for others. So how can you seek to add value and be creative? We got to think outside the box.
Yeah. And share your ideas with others. You may be we're doing this in, like I said, in Ohio, Allen County. Do something like that in your community, or it may look different. Like Bella Vasta, she created a COVID group for her pet sitters and dog walkers, her community there, and providing all these resources. I spoke in the group, and she's had attorneys and tax professionals all speak to the group to try to help people. And as you said, Kevin, it's going to be a restart. She keeps calling it a grand reopening. So think about it that way. Like, what could you do now to build community and stay in community until you have your grand reopening, right? So look at it that way. If you are somebody that's kind of been put on pause, not canceled, but put on pause for a minute, what can you do to stay in good spirits? But definitely start with yourself first. So Kevin, I'm going to go to you next. I'm going to do Dr. Rump's exercises in the meantime on mute, so nobody hears me humming. What are your thoughts?
I think stay busy. That's why I kind of started the Emerge efforts and stuff too, is just to basically keep my mind my mind occupied, so I don't think about the bad things that are happening here. Fortunately on Friday they had the small business stimulus package passed, and I listened to a few webinars on that this afternoon just to kind of see what is the next step. And again, all of that's being rolled out here quickly, and there is help for businesses out there. Unfortunately, not everybody's knowledgeable as to how all the process is going to work. There's a little bit of time to catch up on the relief efforts, and that will be available. Just get with your bank, get with your banker, and the few people that I have surrounded myself with is, my bank and my insurance agent and, my accountant, to get all these things together and figure out where are we at in this situation? How long can we last? What do we need to do immediately to sustain ourselves? So, stay busy. One of the things, fortunately, taking care of the family and stuff too. My wife is an essential employee, so she's been working outside the home, and if I can pick up the responsibilities and cooking a little bit, I've actually learned to cook a few more new things. And she says my cooking is a little more high calorie than she would like, but it's good, I think. So stay busy and keep yourself busy.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. No, but help each other. That's what I'm really getting from it too. Like, you learn something, about how this works, make sure to share that on with your community. And on the flip side of that, if you don't understand something, ask others. Like, people are willing to help and support one another now more than ever. That's one thing I've really enjoyed about just watching online, is just the community and the care that goes into this. And
definitely reaching out and asking for help, I think, is the biggest thing. You're not above that. And some of the messages that Angus shared last week, I happened to jump in at the perfect time where he was sharing a lot of good stuff. And I'm fortunate that I could be part of that and, take some of the things in and understand what you need to do.
I love it. Yeah, he's amazing. So our blog recap of that is like 9 pages long, because you have to put it all in when it's Angus stuff. So, but Dr. Rump, what is your finishing thoughts on what people should do right now?
Well, it reminds me, I grew up in rural Ohio, and I worked on farms, and we had livestock, and we had tore down an old barn, and Dad wanted me to get a tool. So when Dad asked for something back then, you're 5, 6, you did it or you was going to pay the price, and it was not a fun price. So I took off running, and I got caught in the middle of this pile of manure. And and he kept saying, keep moving. When you're in a pile of manure, walking through a pile of crap, you just keep moving. So I think that's where we're at right now. We're walking through this field of manure. No one knows how big the field is. We just got to keep moving, because once you stop, it's history. So whatever you have to do to keep moving, start with yourself and then give to your community and help people out. So that's my parting shot.
Tony, can I share something about, since we brought up manure? I mean, I saw a good quote about social distancing.
So it's getting deep now.
Yeah. So social distancing, if you can smell a fart, you're not far enough apart.
Oh my God.
Again, it depends on the host, right?
Yes.
There we go.
I asked permission to share that before I did. I asked permission.
Okay.
I hesitate on bringing that up when he's on.
You never know what you're going to do. Well, we'll leave you with that positive.
Maybe whiskey.
Hope you guys are taking care of yourself, practicing gratitude, and use some of those tips that Dr. Rump shared with us today. We'll be recapping this as a blog. If you're not already signed up, you go to magnetmarketers.com. Fill out your email address in there. We'll make sure to send you the recap as well as our information for next week's show. So we'll be back here next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you all stay safe and healthy until we see you again. All right. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you.